Hello, everyone. So we are here for another podcast. I'm here with, again, Mr. Ron Petrucia, and thanks for tuning in and watching this video. And today, we're thinking about talking about the Eucharistic Prayer. As you know, in the Church, in the Roman Missal, we have 4 Eucharistic prayers, and oftentimes, like for instance, a lot of the priests, and myself included, that we would go to the second Eucharistic prayer because it's the shortest of the Eucharistic prayer.
And there are others who prefer the third Eucharistic prayer.
Do they? Yeah. I like that one too because from the rising of the sun to its setting.
I myself prefer the third because
one.
of this may he make of us a living sacrifice to you.
Exactly.
That's my favorite.
Oh, that's a good line.
Yeah.
A living sacrifice. And I also like the fourth one too because the fourth one is I usually use it for the Blessed Virgin Mary. So whenever we honor the Blessed Mother, I would use that fourth one. And but I think one of the Eucharistic prayers that is often not a go-to prayer is
neglected.
The first Eucharistic prayer, and it's the long one, and it's very interesting too because I heard that in the seminary that the 4 Eucharistic prayers parallels the 4 Gospels, and the Gospel of Mark is the shortest of the Gospel, and so that's the second Eucharistic prayer. The first one, from Matthew, based on the Gospel of Matthew, and it's a very long Eucharistic prayer, but whether that's true or not, I don't really know, but today, so we're going to
Matthew isn't that long. We're breezing through it in Bible study.
Yeah. Oh, sure. And how long? How long? How many weeks have you been covering that?
A few weeks, less than 2 years.
Yeah. Mm.
We're halfway through chapter 12.
Oh, there you go. Well, I'm not very good at math, but it was 28 minus 12.
16.
16. That's still. Yeah. So. And anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the first Eucharistic prayer, and during the Easter season, I've been actually for daily Mass I've been praying the first Eucharistic prayer, and on Sundays as well. And even though we have like First Holy Communion or Confirmation, but we still use that, and it's wonderful because then it mentions all the saints, and oftentimes what happens is when I go through all the saints, and it's always good to, rather than just rattling off the names of the saints, but it's also good to know a little bit of background of who they are, and it just helps us to more appreciate the saints and what they have done for the Church. And it's always wonderful to kind of call to mind the saints and their presence with us, especially at Holy Mass. And so the first Eucharistic prayer, there are 2 groups of the first Eucharistic prayer, and in the first group there are 24 names that are mentioned, and in the second group, how many names are mentioned in the second group? I don't remember. 15. 15. Okay, wonderful. So 15 in the second group and 24 in the first group. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start off with the saints. And so we have, of course, the first one is Mother Mary, right?
Mother Mary, right?
Yeah, so we got the Mother of God, Mother of our Lord Jesus Christ. And of course she's she has a category of her own. And oftentimes we talk about Mary and the saints. And so she's a unique category.
Theotokos.
The Theotokos, yeah. She is the Mother of God,
The God-bearer.
Yeah. And in the Catholic tradition, we talk about that 3 Latin words, dulia and hyperdulia. And so dulia is a veneration of the saints, and then hyperdulia is that category for Mother Mary, hyperdulia. And then the other one
Latria.
is latria, yeah, which is
worship due only God.
Only for God, exactly. So dulia, hyperdulia, and latria. Very good. And then the second person that we have is
Blessed Joseph, her spouse.
Blessed Saint Joseph, exactly. And so, and then we also have the apostles of Jesus right after that, right? So you got the names that we're most familiar with: Peter and Paul, Andrew, James, John, Thomas, James, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew,
Simon, and Jude.
Yeah. So, and we know Peter and Paul. Peter and Paul. Yeah, Saint Peter and Saint Paul, Andrew, James, and so they were fishermen called by Jesus to join him in proclaiming the kingdom, and Jesus called them, "Come follow me, I will make you fishers of men." And so they left their nets and their boats, and they began to follow Jesus. And I always like that line. Someone once said that when their father looked up and saw that they were gone, and as he was collecting all the fish, and he thought, "Hey, there's something fishy going on here." Okay, all right. Okay, jokes aside. Okay, that's okay. And then so Saint Peter, Paul was the first enemy of the church, first opponent of the church.
Really, a murderer.
Yeah, of Saint Stephen,
right? Saint Stephen,
which is the first Christian martyr, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but yet on the road to Damascus, things began to change for him. So then
he encountered Christ.
Yeah, and then here Jesus said, Saul, why do you persecute me? Yeah. And Saul was like, who are you? I don't even know who you are. And I'm not persecuting you. I'm persecuting these people who are violating the Mosaic law. And yet Jesus reveals himself. I am Jesus. I'm the one whom you are persecuting. And then we talked a little bit about too in one of the groups where we talked about how Paul was there, and then somebody came to visit him and brought him healing, even though they were very afraid of Paul.
Ananias,
that's right, Ananias.
Yeah.
You have a good memory there, Ron.
Nah.
My memory, I'm just deteriorating. Ananias, and then it's like scales falling from his eyes when he saw Paul and saw the truth. And it's like he was blinded for 3 days, and he just lost a sense of purpose, and lost a sense of mission. And it said that he was laying there, and he was not eating or drinking for like 3 days. And it was kind of his death and resurrection, right? In many ways.
Yeah.
And then he became the apostle of Christ to the Gentiles. Gentiles means non-Jew.
And renamed Paul from Saul. A renaming is always significant. It always, in some sense, signifies a new birth.
Exactly.
Abram to Abraham. He becomes the father of a nation to the father of nations. Transition similarly, Sarai to Sarah.
Yeah.
So, and Peter, Simon to Peter.
Right. But you also think too that Saul was the first king, right? The first king of Israel, and so it was an honor to be named after the first king, Saul. But also as he changed his name to Paul, and that's more of a Roman name too, right? Isn't that? And he has dual citizenship, right? So he's Israel, and he was also Roman, and that's one of the reasons why he was not crucified, because Roman citizens of Rome cannot be crucified, and so he was beheaded. And that one church, the 3 fountains, where his head fell 3 times, and then there was a spring of water that came forth. And I don't know if you've ever been there before, but
no.
I remember going there on a pilgrimage and seeing the church, 3 fountains. But we can talk a lot about St. Paul and traveling in his travels, and Paul is just a wonderful saint. And a lot of the letters. How many letters did he write? To the.
That's a good
Is it 27?
question.
No, that's 27 books in the New Testament. But he wrote.
Yeah, he wrote
a lot of letters. Okay. Oh, hey, 10 minutes is up, so we're going to stop for now, and then